doing the okay, I got it. All right, guys, so this is the first time I'm doing this podcast type thing here in Boston. I'm so excited to just have like friends, maybe people I don't know that well. Also want to get some local Boston venues on this platform and just talk about different things. I'm super excited today for this guest that I have. He's a Boston, Massachusetts native. He's 20 years old. Won the Louis Armstrong Award at 17 years old. His principal instrument is piano, but what's really crazy about this dude is that not only is his principal instrument piano, but my principal is guitar, and this guy can play the circles around me on the guitar. He's insanely talented, one of my favorite people on this planet, and I'm speaking of none other than Mr. Peter Accardo Jr. What's up, Peter? What's up, dude?
I'm just laughing over Louis Armstrong Award.
Dude, that's a cool award. I looked it up. That shit is really dope.
Thank you, Mom.
Yeah, bro. I did my research, man.
I'll say what an honor to be the first guest on the show.
I've told you, man, the honor is mine, man.
Well, we've known each other for only a year and a half.
Yeah.
But because of how embracing you are, it's felt like we've known each other for a long time.
Dude, you're my brother, man. It's been awesome. Like living...
It's been a long time. It just seems like we've known each other.
Yeah. And coming to Boston, it feels like... it's been great, don't get me wrong, but sometimes it's overwhelming, and one of the biggest things that's helped me while I'm here is feeling like I have family around me, you know what I mean? And you're definitely included in that list. Mm-hmm. And making music with you, being able to learn. For those of you who don't know, also Peter plays keys in my band, in my project that I have running here in Boston. I'm sure a lot of you have seen him at the shows and stuff like that. Just one of the most talented musicians I've ever met. I've already learned so much just from listening to you play. And I'm excited as I go forward, with the album and stuff, to have Peter on some of my original stuff that I released. So, dude, I'm super excited to have you, man. I think we were both kind of nervous, for different reasons. Me personally, man, I was just so nervous because, you're such a dope-ass dude, and, I'm so honored to interview you. I just wanted to make it, something special. So I feel a lot of pressure, man, if I'm being honest.
I was nervous because this is my first interview.
Yeah.
It's my first interview and camera shy.
Yeah. Fair enough, man. I understand.
But now that it's like playing live. It's once you kind of do the first note, you're in.
Yeah. No, that's a good analogy. I feel it's just something that takes time to get used to as well. I don't think I'm used to being in front of the camera. In front of no, that's so true though. Recording, in general, I feel I can get in front of a bunch of people and play music just fine. But if I'm in the studio and I have to do takes, especially if it's timed or something, it's the hardest, man. It's the hardest.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think that's way harder than playing in front of a group of people.
Yes.
But I was gonna ask you, I got some stuff written down here, some different things that I wanted to talk about. Okay, I heard that you really love Fiddler on the Roof. Is this true?
From who?
This is from Julian. Julian's one of our bandmates. He plays sax in the band.
The album by Cannonball Adderley.
Oh my god, dude. Literally, no, I was texting him and he was yeah, Peter's loves Fiddler on the Roof, and I thought he meant the musical.
There's an album by Cannonball Adderley, and it's definitely one of my... I do like the musical too.
Dude, that's so funny, man. I 100% thought he was talking about the musical.
No, I like the musical too, but the album by Cannonball Adderley, I think, is one of the first albums that Charles Lloyd played on. Mm-hmm. One of my absolute favorite musicians, and I think and then the rest of the group was the Cannonball Adderley, Louis Hayes, Sam Jones, Nat Adderley, Cannonball Adderley, and I think it might be Barry Harris on the record. That's a phenomenal record. Yes, one of my favorites.
I gotta check it out. Dude, that is so funny. I 100% thought he was talking about the musical. And I had to know more. I was okay, I need to know the context of this.
Joe Zawinul is the piano player on that record, actually. Very young Joe Zawinul from Weather Report.
Yeah.
So that's my bad.
I wanted to talk about your early musical influences, because you've been playing music since you were like really young. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what age did you start?
Well, I really started playing guitar before I played piano. And started to take guitar lessons when I was about 5 years old. And growing up, I mean, my first my first memory of life relates to music. It was August 19th, 2006, and my grandfather was bringing me to my grandmother's house, and we were on the corner of right where Mino's roast beef is in Linton, and he was playing the Rhapsody in Blue CD of the Boston Pops, and I think my grandmother had a copy. So that's my first memory. My first memory when I was 2 was music, and that it was from the even it wasn't like the memory began like at some point during the music. It's like the first memory is the opening clarinet going into the piece.
Yeah.
So I started to really like music, and I would kind of bang on the piano, but I didn't really play piano until I was maybe 10. But I started out playing guitar, and I really owe my love of music to my family, because everybody kind of had a different music thing going. My grandfather, I think, probably likes the music most similar to me, because he put me on to like jazz at an early age. But I didn't really appreciate it until later on. But he put me on, and my grandmother loved show tunes. She loved a lot of that stuff. So, and she played me more of the music of her generation, 50s, Platters. That was her favorite group, and like songs like "Let's Go to the Hop," like. I remember like the 50s like chart toppers from her, and my mother and her brother kind of had like the 70s R&B, which I really, particularly my mom's brother Chris, shout out Chris. He played me the best music as a kid. He's probably got the best music taste out of anyone that I've ever met. He loves everything, and he knows a lot of niche stuff too.
I think I met him at the warehouse, right?
You did.
Yeah,
and
super nice guy.
My mother liked a lot of that stuff too, like really like R&B. I think my mother's more of a disco person, and then my dad, it's kind of the opposite, because he was like, I'm sorry, this is a long answer to the question.
No, bro.
But he was like 60s, like British invasion. That's his jam.
Yeah.
Beatles.
Right.
A bunch of the kind of more like Moody Blues and Beach Boys. The music that I really loved as a kid was the Beatles. I was a Beatlemaniac because of my dad, and I still love the Beatles. But I grew up definitely, I think, more because I was younger and not as attentive. I was more like kind of scatterbrained. I grew up really liking old like rock and roll music. The band Boston was a local band. And I love that first album that they did. It's a really great record. It's a self-titled record. So a lot of, I think the drummer lived the street away from me, and Brad Delp, he was from Peabody, and I knew a lot of people that were local, that was open for them. So they were kind of like integral to where I grew up. Everyone talked about Boston, the band Boston. So yeah, early musical influences. There was a bunch of stuff. Just, I think first grade was really when I started to like discover that I loved like music with a different like harmonic sensibility, because I heard again from my mom and my uncle stuff like Shaka Khan. And she's like I love Shaka Khan.
Yeah.
Huge Shaka Khan, like, and Earth, Wind and Fire and Stevie Wonder, and I still listen to that stuff most of the time now, like R&B, like Motown. So I really just owe it to more or less the individual members of my family.
Yeah,
and that's like elementary school.
It amazes me to hear that you've only been like really playing the piano for 10 years, because like when I hear you play, man, it sounds like you've been doing it for like a lifetime, dude.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Like, genuinely one of my favorite musicians, like, in general, but definitely like the favorite like piano player I've ever played with. Just like hearing you play it's been crazy, man. I just love it. Every time like I throw it over to you, I never know what you're gonna do, and you always like surprise me.
Well, it's sometimes in my head, because they're your songs that we play live, and I hope that all I want to do is kind of. I've learned this. We've talked about it when we first started playing together. I didn't really know how to play, because I didn't play until I got to college. But when we first started playing, I just didn't know what I was doing. But now I know how to play with the group, and it's something that it feels so much better when you're just like really hearing what you want to do.
Yeah.
And when we improvise, it can kind of go anywhere, like last night.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part, because I think songs people like that. I think people aren't gonna object to like a little side mission.
Yeah. No, I love that, man. I think that you bring so much to the tunes. That's one thing, and it's been crazy, like looking back on like the first times that we played together versus now, how much, I mean, and it makes sense that we're more glued together, but I've definitely heard the changes in your playing. But then I'll look back to stuff at like the recording of that we did of that Gary Clark Jr. Tune in 270 last year, that recording that we have, and like when everybody comes in, like you and I are so locked in, it's crazy. That's another thing, man.
We gotta play that
your
song.
time feel, bro. Your time feel is like, bro, it's like one of the best time feels of any musician that I know. Like you, Ollie and Trey is like my dream rhythm section. That's Oliver Unger, bassist for the band, and Trey Tarzia, the drummer. Like
legends.
Like, bro, y'all,
those guys deserve all the praise in the world.
Dude, if I had to like handpick any musicians in Boston to play with, it would be the three of y'all. It's been my dream rhythm section, so I'm so happy that we've been able to make music together.
It's been so great. And it's funny that you mentioned feel, because that's something that people say a lot of the time. Great feel, great time feel, great melodic feel. It's a very enigmatic term to me, because I don't really know what it means to have good feel, because the whole goal of playing is for it to feel good. So when people say that, it kind of confuses me. I don't really know what I don't know what the definition of that would be, to have maybe it's literal, maybe it's you're feeling what you're doing. And maybe that's what people mean when they... I don't know.
No, I mean, like, dude...
I'm really interested in kind of knowing where people come from, because it's really, I think, an open-ended... But it's the most important thing that people always say. It's like, what's the most important thing? If you have good feel, then the rest of it doesn't matter.
Yeah, first of all, no, I love your harmonic choices, but I guess when I said feel, I was especially like time feel specifically too, like just the way that you feel rhythm and like the way that we lock in. I think our time feels are very similar in a way that makes us like play together well. And I think it has a lot to do, honestly, with like early music influences, because like I feel like that sense of rhythm comes so much from like the music that we hear as we grow up. And I think like we listened to a lot of similar stuff when we were younger, and that kind of shows itself sometimes when we're locking in.
it's kind of like an unspoken thing that people like. I think everybody grew up listening to a lot of like blues music, and no one really says that. But everybody kind of like when they first started, it's like playing like bluesy type stuff, and that's the cool part about it. Just like kind of because it's so accessible, like and again, everybody kind of comes from that thing, and again, I feel like it's unspoken. No one like really talks about how much when you're a kid, you just love to sit there like thinking that you've been playing like in a shack your whole life, and like so, yeah, no, I agree.
But we're both fourth semesters at Berkeley, right?
Yeah.
What's your Berkeley experience been like, man? Like, honestly.
I think probably I'll be done after this year. Yeah, because I don't know. It's not because it's because academia and myself, it's not good. I love to learn, but like the whole thing about like grades, I don't know. I just love to make music and have a good time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm here to do. I don't really care about the like success stuff, and I just want to have. I'm lucky to be anywhere.
Yeah.
And to be doing anything, and that's been carrying me around more strongly lately, because of my friends such as yourself, and there's a lot of great stuff to learn at school. I wish I was more devoted and not so lazy, but yeah. And you can learn everything too on the internet as well.
Yeah.
I mean that's kind of not everything. I mean, because human experience, playing with the guys that you said, Oliver, Trey, and you, and that's been the best education. Playing with actual people. That's like I've made the most amount of progress because of playing with people in the communal way that we do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I've said it before too. Like, Berkeley is an awesome resource. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But at the same time, I think so much of what it has to offer is the connections, like the people that you meet, the players that you'll meet. And like, especially for you, man, like you can sit in harmony class all day, but like at the end of the day, your ear is extraordinary, and it comes out of you. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like one of the things that I love about you is that you're so capable of like hearing these really complex ideas and just like bringing them to life, like on the spot. And so I think a lot of what Berkeley has to teach, a lot of like what they have to offer through their curriculum, specifically when it comes to like harmony and stuff like that, it's like it's already in you, bro, and you already bring all of that out. Like, I totally agree with you that at this point it's just like playing more with people, man, like just learning from and you've already made so many connections, lifelong ones that I think like you've really gotten out of Berkeley a lot of what it has to offer for you.
Yeah.
So like I totally understand that. And like, dude, when it comes to the whole academic side of like keeping up with all these classes and stuff, I don't at all like find it lazy. I think it's hard because like no matter what we want to say, school is like amazing, and I know that school is like the norm now. College is like the norm now for people. But a lot of it, the scheduling and like that amount of work and like sort of the construct of it is pretty abnormal, I think, in a lot of ways. And like it's cool that so many people are able to like take advantage of it and benefit from it, but like I don't think it's for everybody, and it doesn't have to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in my own experience. I've never been like a great student, you know. I've been like a decent one, and I think I'm like pretty intelligent, so I don't. It's not that I have a hard time understanding material, but it's more so like I've just I find it hard to like find the motivation, especially when it's like I think with school there's so much there's so much to learn, and there's so many things that I enjoy about it, but it comes with a lot of stuff that I have to sit through and like just deal with because I'm in school and I have to pass the classes, you know.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely think being here has been a huge like game changer for me, and just like being in this city too. That's another reason that like I'm so interested in like staying in school, because it's like, you know, as long as I keep my grades up, I can stay in Boston, and the city has given me so much energy.
Yeah.
But you lived here your whole life, yeah?
Yes.
Where would you want to move if you were to move somewhere?
Well, I like this. I really like the idea of kind of being like a nomad.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't want to live anywhere like a real like. I want to go everywhere. I like new things. That's the thing about music. I love to discover new things. I love to, and as much as I love the old things too, it's like I really like new things. So like living, like domain wise, like I really. I want to go, and I know that you said like you want to go everywhere. I want to go everywhere. I mean, I think Antarctica. I mean, anywhere. You know, I like new stuff. I like new like atmospheres. I love, and the music's environmental too. It's like everywhere we play, it's like a different thing to. It's like really, witness. I mean. Lily Pad, it's like a complete like different type of thing as opposed to playing at the warehouse. No, where do we play on Tuesday? Where do we play on Tuesday? Rockwood. And then we play at the warehouse and Secret Island. It's somebody's house. You just end up at somebody's house playing in a basement.
Yeah.
And you pack that shit out, like, you know.
Yeah.
So I want to go. Hey, I'm aware of my environment. I like to see everything.
That's one thing I've noticed about you. You love to go, man. Like whenever we're anywhere. Like I remember when you came to North Carolina, you just like wanted to see this and that. And it's funny because like I find it like my home is so boring to me. You know, I've been there so long. But I
love North Carolina.
I know, man. I know you love North Carolina.
It's so nice because people here are like are kind of rude and quick to be on you, but the people there were so nice. And
yeah, but see, I love that, man. Like this is the thing that I've been saying is like North Carolina, not that there aren't like genuinely nice people in North Carolina, there's tons of them, but North Carolina is very polite, you know. The South is very polite, and I think there's a difference between being polite and being kind. Being kind, and like
that's the thing you've always said to me.
because like dude, because you know, I would much rather be here and like up in the north. Like before I came to school, everybody was telling me that like that Northerners were gonna eat me alive, like yada yada yada. I'd much rather people just like be able to take them for face value. Like what they say is what they mean. You know, they're not gonna like pretend to be nice to me. You know, and I think that's a lot of what happens in the South. It's like that politeness, not necessarily kindness.
Yeah. And it's, well, yeah, because, and you just put your finger on it. People are going to say what they mean. I kind of had an introspective period over winter break where I was saying to myself, you know, I think opinions are on their way out because people are so afraid to reveal themselves as being ignorant, maybe by saying something not everybody would agree with, and I know that I used to be like kind of a money mouth. I'd just run my mouth and never shut the fuck up. And now I'm kind of afraid to like, because I'm aware of how the new day is. People want good vibes. People want happy, and So and that's been more of like a signal lately for me to be anxious when I'm amongst a group of people, or when I'm just because I don't want to be that person that's gonna be. But at the same time, I like it when other people give me new people have to be more open to how people. I think you're very open, you're not judgmental, and you're not. People have to be more open-minded to. And there are a lot of strong type personalities here. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that.
I guess how this would relate to is when the older generation talks about how they would be on top of each other and say they didn't like this and they didn't like that, and or maybe they like this, and it was because they'll say that because they loved the person that they would be directing their feelings towards. It's like they have a trust. And see, for me it's really hard, like, to be honest, like, not to say, well, maybe I don't like, you know what I mean, like,
Yeah.
and you're not like that. If you like something, you'll say you like it. If you don't like something, you'll say, and it's because you love. It's because you love.
Dude, I think, though, that's something I'm still working on a lot, is like, really, I don't think I really have a hard time, like, speaking up if I really love something, but sometimes I have a hard time speaking up if I don't agree with something that someone says, or like, or find it offensive, or I don't know. I think that kind of conflict is hard to meet sometimes. But I think it's always worth speaking up. Like, that is one thing I've learned.
But you have done it, though.
I've done it some, yeah, and I think I'm a lot happier because of it. Like, being just, like, brutally honest, and, like, with myself, as well, not only with other people, has made my life so much better. It's like, people know what I want, people know what I don't want. People, just to have that, like, communication has been everything to me, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to, like, practice that more, but I don't think it's like, you don't ever arrive at, like, a point where you're just like, oh, I've got it down. I think it's like a muscle that you always, like, work out, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's not like a one and done type thing, but I think, no, man, I see a lot of that in you, and, like, I appreciate how much you are yourself as well. Like, I think it's so hard. One of the hard things about being here is, like, being surrounded by so many, like, talented people, and people that I look up to because of, because of maybe, the way that they play, stuff like that. I tend to fall into this thing of, like, I don't know, I feel like I lose myself sometimes here for a second, I don't always feel like I'm able to just be completely myself without, sort of thinking about how people are going to perceive it. Like, sitting here recording this, like, already thinking about, oh, like, what are people going to think about this podcast? Like, dude, like, that's so annoying, man. Yeah. That's one of the things that I can't stand about being perceived, is, like, especially here where there's, like you said, so many big personalities, so many egos, so many, like, I think that affects my playing a lot too, man. Because, like, I'm on stage, and, like, ideally I would like to be completely removed. Like, as much as I want to connect with the audience, like, when I'm playing, especially when I'm trying to improvise and, like, deliver something, I want to be almost, like, completely removed from, like, who's in the room and who's watching, because I feel like I do my best work when I'm alone, like, in my room playing. I want to bring that to the stage, but it's so hard because, like, as soon as I get in front of people, I'm like, oh man, there's, like, pretty girls in the crowd. Oh man, like, like, such and such.
That's why you gotta wear the glasses.
Wear the shades, bro,
so
and
you
just,
can't
like,
see who's in the audience.
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah.
It's hard, man. And I feel like too, I disassociate, like, it at the worst times. Like, one of which being when I'm on stage. Like, I'll be singing a song, especially one that if I've sang it like 100 times or whatever, it's like one I do on like autopilot, and my mind will be like somewhere else. Like, what am I gonna cook for lunch tomorrow? Like, type deal. I don't know if you ever deal with that. Like, I'm just in a completely different spot in my head.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. I kind of describe it as like the Steve Reich, like the trains constantly, like the sound of trains just like constantly in your head. That's how it is for me, like train horns, like in the sort of like the perpetual like, you know, that's what it's like for me, like and I don't really think that I am myself. People talk about that. How can you be unapologetically yourself? I think it's really hard, because what if you don't know yourself? I don't know myself. I think I'd be really naive for anyone to ever feel as if that they know themselves when there's, as you say, many other people. I mean, literally, the possibility of how many people on the planet? 8 billion? 8 billion other people that are going to perceive you.
Yeah.
Potentially, if you were to know everyone on the planet and other organisms. And, well, there's no other and. Maybe different lifetimes.
Yeah.
Like, you're never going to know yourself. I never am going to know myself. And that's something that's a real struggle. And I'm not saying it's like a... And I'm not saying that in a way of to where it's like in the driver's seat. I'm never gonna know myself, because I've had so many like different phases, if you will. So however I come across as being myself, I have absolutely no fucking idea.
Yeah. No, bro, I think that's part of the
but
art
I do
of...
think, I don't mean to cut you off, but I do think that you are yourself. I think that you're an individual.
I appreciate it. And I feel like more and more I am learning who I am, but at the same time I feel like, you know, the closer you get to knowing who you are, sort of the further the end of the finish line gets. So it's like you're chasing something. It's another one of those things that I don't think you ever finish, you know?
Yeah.
It's just a constant thing that happens over your life. And I feel like sort of I feel like there's such a thing as like knowing who you are in the moment, you know, like what it is that you believe in right now, what it is that you like want right now, what it is you don't want right now, but like being okay with that changing, I think is important. Yeah. That's one of the things I'm learning, you know? It's just like being okay with not fully knowing who I am, but like along the way I have moments where I feel strong in that, and then at other times maybe I struggle, but maybe that's because I'm changing, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's it is like one of the biggest dilemmas, but also one of the biggest blessings, I'd say, in life. Is like that we can change, you know what I mean? I don't want to stay the same, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, you never want to be stagnant.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you try so hard to remove the biases that you have. I know that I had to do a ton of that. Crucially, probably when I was in high school, like, you're always gonna have them. You're always gonna have a bias or a... Not like an actual bias, but like more of a subliminal one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like... I don't think it's something that we can avoid, but I don't know that it's something like we need to feel like we have to avoid. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like part of the experience, part of being like a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's why, like, dude, man, I feel like lately I've had so many good friends. That's one of the things I love about Boston. Not that I don't have great friends in North Carolina. I just feel like I have so many more in Boston. You know, I'm around so many more people on a constant basis just because of like being at school and stuff. And like one of the things that's helped me learn the most about who I am is like watching people that I love, like people who treat me the way that I feel like I deserve to be treated. And like you're definitely on that list, you know what I mean? That's one of the reasons I love you so much is like seeing like what it feels like to have really good friends who, you know, who like see me and respect me and like see can share like a vision with me, you know? That I think that's what it's all about, and like that's what I want to be for other people. And so like I think that's been one of the biggest things in finding out who I am is like seeing what I love in other people and like wanting to you know also like display that within my own character.
And that's beautiful, man. That's so beautiful. And you know, it's weird because you talk about because it's really interesting that we both kind of had the same dilemma. Because I had a very lonely childhood when it comes to friends. I didn't have it, and it's weird because I grew up here, and so even though I didn't grow up in Boston, when I went to like grade school, it was kind of like how you felt. And the breaks, it's like you told me that over break that you were struggling, and that's how my breaks are too. And even though it's 25 minutes away where I grew up, and I sometimes, I don't know, it's weird because we both find comfort in the other thing. The fact that I could go to North Carolina, and I feel bad that I like it, and that you sometimes feel as if you struggle to be more yourself there. So I feel like I shouldn't say that I like it there because I know what you mean. I feel like I can't put myself in your shoes.
Yeah.
And to deal with the eccentric personalities of being from here is something that I'm like desperately tired of.
Yeah.
But you embrace the well, you know what? Boston's like that, but the rest of Massachusetts isn't so much like that. And
Yeah.
so I guess you can't really tread on geography. Like I love North Carolina just because of the communities, and Boston's very quiet. It's very quiet. It's not happening. It's like, even though, I mean, it's happening. Like I said, it's all in the mouths. It's happening in the mouths. So people are gonna yell at you, but I mean, but when our friends come back, there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
When everybody's back, it's like that's like a euphoric type moment.
Yeah, that's like one of the things that solidified how much I love this place was going back for break, this past winter break.
Yeah.
It was one of the hardest times in my life, man. I was so unhappy. And like as happy as I was to see my family, like I got to see my new baby nephew, Jack. Like I got to see, all these people that I love, my little baby brother and sister, like a bunch of my siblings, my mom, like it was great, but dude, I don't know what it is. I think it is just like this newfound energy that I have here. There's so much energy here, and I think it's a lot of it has to do with like the people that I surround myself with who are also passionate about music. I'm also like constantly learning here. I'm in classes and like I'm learning stuff that I'll use for the rest of my life, I'm learning about harmony. I'm learning about like I'm training my ear. I'm learning more about guitar. And I think I'm kind of addicted to that staying busy too. Like I'm always busy and always learning. It makes me feel so alive. And so like when I was home, I felt like a lot of that was stripped away from me because as much as I needed the rest, and I'm glad that I got to rest, it kind of felt like I had lost my purpose, And that was really hard for me, especially like that on top of like feeling the guilt for feeling that feeling. You know, I'm like, oh, I'm home, I'm with my family, I should be happy, I should be grateful that I can even be here. But I think that experience just solidified how much I really love it up here, you know? Even though at times it is overwhelming, and at times I'm up here and I'm like, you know, oh my gosh, like I need to go home for a week. But
and you are so immersive in doing being a part of different types of experiences, like, you know, podcast, music, you know, your visual art. I mean, like, it's so and I have a lot of it, and I actually think you're kind of a workaholic.
Me too, man. I think it's getting to that point. I've realized, like, this semester already I've picked up so many projects, and I'm like, okay, maybe I need to, like,
recording,
step
by the
back.
way, this whole thing of recording is just like, I don't know anything, but
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot, man, but I love it. I love the input output situation, you know, like the more I dig in, the more I get out of the whole thing. But I think I'm still learning, like, as I mature, learning that balance, you know, of like trying to set aside some time for myself to do things that I love to do, to have fun, you know, to not always feel like I need to play shows every weekend. That's been a lot of work, man. It's been a lot of work. Honestly, here, I would say playing shows is definitely more work than at least it feels like when I'm at home. Because at home I have a car, you know. At home I have a car, and I think that's a big part of it, is like travel here. And like, also shout out to Peter's mom Heidi for like transporting me so much here. That has been everything to me. But like trying to work.
By the way, and I wanted to say, because I want to make sure, my parents, that's correct. My mom and my dad, I love them so much. So yeah, I wanted to, yes. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad.
They're the sweetest. I love the Accardos, but it's so much harder here because I'm competing, not like competing, but, you know, there's so many shows going on all the time. So like trying to get people to come out to the shows and rehearsing the band every week, which is one thing I'm really grateful for, is like here, you know, I'm able to practice with you guys like every week, you know.
Yeah.
Back home I didn't really have that, and that's been like everything to me. But it's just a lot of work, man, promoting the shows, especially because like at Berkeley, you know, I spend a lot of time putting up posters. I've probably put up like I've probably put up like 1,000 posters this semester already, if I'm being real with you. And what's crazy, man,
1,000? Are you sure about 1,000?
I don't know. Okay, 500.
Okay, let's go
500 this semester.
Okay, we'll say 500.
But dude, literally, like, I will put up posters, and as I'm putting posters up, the staff at Berkeley is taking them down.
Fuck that.
As I'm putting them up,
that's
bro.
A real fucking, yeah.
Like, it's like, there's only so many ways to promote first off, and like, I've been trying to do more social media, as some of you might have seen from me, like, posting more often, but that's a lot of work. Just like all of it together, man. I'm trying, because, you know, I do think like it's important, especially for me, you know, I'm older. I did like some community college, and so now, like, I'm understanding that, like, I'm about to graduate, so, like, something's gotta give. Like, I've gotta be able to pay the bills at some point.
Yeah.
So I'm trying, you know, to, like, more or less monetize what I do so that I can, like, be at least comfortable and, like, keep making music. So I'm just realizing how important it is for me to really dig in right now. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, like, as much as I want to move through this whole thing without, you know, such an ego, it's like, I want the music to be heard, you know what I mean? I do feel like a lot of times I make it for other people as much as I make it for myself. It's like, I make it it's for everyone, but I really just love when, I don't know, that I can make something that someone else can sympathize with, connect with, that makes them feel something, that, you know, maybe helps them through something, like, so I want it to be heard, you know?
And everybody knows this, but your music is so great. I mean, I I mean, I'm in the band, so it sounds like I would say it anyway. But I mean, I'm a huge fan. I'm a fan. I'm a fucking fan.
Dude, that means everything, because, you know,
I love the songs, man.
I have such a respect for your taste in music, man. Like, you put me on so much good stuff.
Well, I
so
feel
much
like
good
I
stuff.
can't write. I feel like I'm a shitty writer.
Oh, man.
And so when we write stuff together, and I kind of hear, you and I have a lot of the stuff, though, that even though I feel like you're a fantastic writer, a lot of the stuff that you've written reminds me of a lot of like the more like playful ideas that I've tried to work out, even from when I was like younger, like, but the way that your compositions go, I mean, it really works. The one song in particular, One More Night with You, like it's kind of unconventional, and I don't mean that in a bad way, I mean in the best way, but it's good unconvention. It's kind of unconventional, the one part when you have like the E minor, E flat, D minor, a D flat minor, and like the chromatic chords, like. But I love that. It's so cool, and that's so great, you know. Like, cause like I used to kind of write songs like that, really. I guess it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of weird?
Yeah, I like writing weird stuff. Dude, I'm getting into some more of that, man. Like, I'm doing some, cause for the album, I'm trying to just write. I'm opening it up with this one song actually. That's like, I love mantras lately, like, just really like cyclical music where it's just like maybe one or two lines repeated over and over.
Wow, yeah.
And like I'm opening it up with this one, and it's kind of like woozy, like the beat is very weird and like detuned and stuff. I don't know, man. I think it's just, that's one thing I realized too, is like with writing, I have to consume new stuff. Like if I'm not consuming new stuff, I can't write new stuff. And like I've never had a streaming service until 3 days ago. I got Tidal, and I will say, as much as I never wanted to have one because I'm like, fuck streaming, like they don't pay enough, you know, like I've never wanted to support that kind of thing. But it's
Spotify in particular.
Yeah, but it's just the way the world works now, and I was like, you know what? Life is too short. I'm gonna die one day. I want to hear as much music as possible, especially wanting to be creative and wanting to write new stuff. I need to listen to new music. So like, you know, the streaming,
so weird is all music is really on YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's where
you get music on YouTube. Like I think even if you don't have like an account, like there's like actual like direct to audio.
Yeah.
Like if you click on like if you were listening to David Bowie, and you clicked on his like thing, you could get like every album. You might have to like listen to like an ad, but I think everything's like on YouTube.
Yeah, and that's where I used to listen, was on YouTube, but like since I got streaming though, I was saying like it's like, it's a blessing and a curse, because as much as I am able to listen to new music now, I have this like fever for like, oh my god, I gotta find new songs. So it feels like I can't even sit through a whole song now. Like I'm on the streaming platform and I'm like, I hear this one that I like and I'm like, oh yeah. So then I go to the next suggested song and I'm like, oh, I like this too, let me add this. And it feels like I can't get through a whole song now.
Yeah, I don't really make playlists. I don't understand kind of how playlists work, because it's so like, I feel as if they're a little like indulgent, because I tried to make them and I just realized that I was really making it for me.
Yeah.
And I stopped doing it. Like I was like, this doesn't work. This isn't how it's supposed to be sequenced.
I love it, bro.
Here's my running playlist.
No, I love it, man. I make it for like different feelings. Like I have like, you know, if I want to feel calm, I have a playlist. If I want to feel like hyped up before a set, I have a playlist.
But you get what I'm saying, though. It's like, but then you might become indulged in those feelings. Because I think that the human music relationship is kind of abusive. We can play music whenever we want, or have music in mind whenever we want, whenever we're trying to feel better. And the music's always going to be there for us. So sometimes I wonder, how does it make the music feel? Because I mean, even though it's out in the air, and that it's meant to be accessible to everybody. But like sometimes I play music in a room and I leave the house because I don't want to be there when the music is playing. I think that we kind of abuse it, even though we can abuse it because it's never gonna hurt us. It's never gonna get us angry. It's never gonna make us upset, and that's. And again, it's like you said, you never get tired of it. I love to listen to music. I love to, like, and I tell people straight up that I'm more interested in music than people.
Dude, fair enough, honestly.
I'm more interested in music than people. I don't really care about, except for the people that I know. But like, that's not true.
No,
that's actually not true.
No,
I
bro.
care about people just as much as I care about music. I care about everybody, but
music is everything, bro.
Yeah,
music is everything. I think it's like, I genuinely believe one of the reasons that I love music so much is that I genuinely believe that it is one of the most powerful forces to ever exist.
Yes.
Like the way that it can change people, you know, and like that's why I believe in it so much. But it's a bit overwhelming because it's like the more and more I dream of being able to change the world with music, I see more and more just how far gone the world is. And so it's like, it's kind of discouraging sometimes because I do second guess myself and think, you know, like, is there any coming back from the way it is? Like, man, just seeing how, like, terrible people can be. I mean, there's so much, like...
Through music.
Yeah.
That's interesting. How do you see people as being terrible through music? That's interesting.
No, I don't see them being terrible through music. More so I'm saying like the like blatant like disregard for like other people that people can have. You know, like I was on the train the other day. This is like the Green Line. I was on the train. Oh yeah, this is the Boston Green Line.
The Green Line.
And this lady was like, I sat behind this lady and she like got up, she moved, and Erin was with me, and she looked at me and she was like, honey, your teeth are yellow. Like your New Year's resolution.
She said this to who?
To
you
me,
or Erin?
To me. She was like, honey, your teeth are yellow. Your New Year's resolution should be to marry a dentist. And then just went off and like ripped me a new one. I mean, just like constantly just like insulting me. Like I was trying to be nice and be like, yeah, yada 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 yada, and just saying like the meanest shit, like terrible stuff.
I'm sorry, man.
And I was like,
it's awful.
In those moments, I'm like,
was she like drunk?
No. She wasn't drunk. She was like completely sober. And I mean, I have no clue what she's going through. I don't know what she deals with. I don't know anything about this woman. But it regardless of what she's going through, for me, seeing her blatant disregard for me and how I felt, and like completely being removed from like giving any shits about me,
that sucks,
was discouraging because I'm like, okay, let's for example take a person like this, you know what I mean, regardless of what they're going through, but just like the way that they treat and like see other people. How is it that music could change this person? And like, it's not that I think that I need to change everyone through music. It's just like, I genuinely believe in music as a force that can change the world. But sometimes I think about, you know, like I said, like how far gone it is. Like there's many people like that in this world. Like, and what is music going to do to change them?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I think I want to figure out, like how to use that tool to the best of its ability to help change people and like move people. But it's like, I don't know that music can elicit empathy if there's none there in the first place. I don't know that it can, because I mean, to give yourself over to music is in a way a practice of empathy itself. So, you know, does that make sense? Like it discourages me.
That's what's so great about being around people that are empathetic, because sometimes you do find yourself around people that lack empathy, and in that moment it's like, yeah, it's kind of disturbing to you. Well, to me personally. And then you're around people that but when you're around those people, that are when you're around those people that are accepting, it's like one of the best. I think I kind of had that moment last night because I had something happen earlier in the day where I was just saying to myself, why do people believe that there's like an expectation? But then something happened last night. I was just like, yes, this is it. Just treat people how they deserve to be treated. Do unto others as, what's the expression?
Do unto others as I have no clue. As you would do unto yourself, or something like that.
Do unto others as you would do unto yourself.
Something like that. Which I think is a funny statement.
That's
because
a little sexual, no?
No. No, but I think it's a funny statement because, like, I think we treat ourselves like shit, bro. You know? I mean, I can only speak for myself. But I just think, like, I'm my own worst critic, you know?
Yeah.
I am the cause of a lot of my own pain. I mean, really, in a way, I think I totally agree with the whole philosophy that, like, we are the cause of pretty much all of our pain. Like, regardless of what's happening around us, like, we can always choose how we can't always choose how we feel, but I think the way that we feel has everything to do with us and us alone.
Yes. Well, so yes, because we talk about like getting. Trey and I were talking about this last night after the concert. We were talking.
Shout out Trey Tarzia.
We were talking about how you can like access a feeling all the time, but that's not what we were talking about. That's like that's like the reciprocal. We were talking about how when we play, we can sound how we want to sound ideally all the time, which is basically asking how could we feel the way that we want to all the time. I guess I realized that after we were talking, it's like, no, you can't. You feel... Because, like, sometimes we play in a bad mood, and then that kind of dictates, like, how it's happening. The music. But when I'm in a good mood, like last night I was in a great mood just to be there and, you know... So you have to feel everything. You have to feel all the emotions. You have to... Because the bad emotions, it goes without saying, obviously, are a part of the good emotions as well. And it goes without saying. I mean,
right.
But yeah, you can't control how you feel. You can't control how you feel at all.
Yeah, no, you're right. They come hand in hand. I mean, I think it's like pretty. I think most people agree that there's no like good without the bad or low without the high. You know what I mean? That's one of the things I think, like I was saying before too, is like learning, for me personally, learning that balance of like, I'm not gonna feel my best every single day. You know?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna feel that, whether that be like just emotionally overall how I feel or how I feel about my playing. You know, I get so frustrated with my instrument as much as I love guitar. It's like also sometimes feels like my worst enemy. It's just like I don't know. That's one of the things I envy about you so much, man, is just like when you play, it's like I feel like you're just speaking, you know? You're like talking about how you feel, and when I play I feel like I'm just reciting. You know, it's like I learned French in middle school for 3 years, and all I did was, like, recite verbs. Like, I feel like I'm just sitting there reciting verbs that I know. And, like, as opposed to making full sentences and, like, really painting a picture.
But I feel like you have such an excellent vocabulary, musically.
Which is wild to me. But, I mean, you know, I'm sure
I mean, if you feel like you want to be able to speak more fluently, I would say just maybe go with the attitude that I'm just doing it as opposed to vocab, because
Yeah.
if you know that you want to speak, you can speak. And that's why I say I could play any instrument and it's the same voice, even though I don't know how to play the clarinet. If I play the clarinet, it's the same expression. If you could play one instrument, you could play them all. That's not even true. You could play any instrument. If someone says, I don't play the clarinet, it's like, you do play the clarinet. You play the fucking
Everybody plays the clarinet. They don't know.
That's just an example, because I don't really like clarinets. No offense, clarinet players, but sometimes it sounds like 1935, and we try to. I'm sorry, that's not true. A little true.
I think you hate the clarinet, Peter.
Huh?
I think you hate the clarinet. It's been confirmed.
I hate.
No, you hate the clarinet.
Oh, I hate the. Just a little bit.
Wait, fair enough.
No, I don't mean to say that. No, that's actually, you know what? That's a fucking awful thing for me to say, because it doesn't matter. It's like, that's just like that's just my opinion, like the tone. That's. Hey, pianos are on their way out. Pianos.
No way.
Yes, I watched.
You're full of shit.
I know. I watched a Rick Beato video yesterday. And it was talking about ciphering, like AI graphs. Are deciphering like AI, like the chart trends. Like the guitar is like coming back. Piano went from like being like dominant like rhythm section, like chordal instrument, but now it's plummeted. I mean, really, like the piano's gonna go.
Yeah.
Piano's gonna go. I mean, definitely before the guitar.
I don't know, man. I think it's got some time left.
Wait, what were we talking about before? Oh yeah, if you could play any instrument. You could play any instrument. It's the same, and this is why, again, I was talking about earlier, like people don't want to like share opinions, because obviously it could contribute to this hurting, to like this kind of bloodthirsty hurting, because I say the whole thing about playing better, it's like, no one's better than anyone. Everyone has equal rights as a musician. The guy that just started to learn how to play the trumpet, it's like I was gonna say Miles Davis, but he's not alive anymore. So let me pick a different. The guy that just started to play the saxophone is not. Sonny Rollins is not better than him. He might sound more fluent, but he's not better. So subjectivity, there's a time and a place for it, but the voice thing about playing an instrument is so essential. I think that finding your own voice is important. I'm trying to do that.
Same. I think that's one of my biggest problems when it comes to improv. It's like, I don't know that I found that internal voice. So it's like, how can I speak with my voice through this instrument when I don't even know that I've like found the voice internally? You know what I mean? I think that's one of the big, and that's why another thing that I'm saying is like, I have to listen to new music. I think if I'm ever gonna like find my voice, I think as much as like you want it to be your own, let's be honest, it's like never really your own. You know what I mean? You're emulating things that you've heard before, and maybe at times you make breakthroughs and play something that
sometimes you emulate, but other times you don't. I'm not a believer in the whole. I don't believe. Most people say that it's what you've heard before. Sometimes yes. Sometimes definitely yes. Like 100%. But other times you get into that like way of expressing yourself in a unique way that's different.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's something I've never agreed with personally.
Yeah. No. I can see your point. Like especially the way that you play. Like whenever you take solos, like you always surprise me, man. Like I always think like I've heard you you know, like do your thing, and then you like pull something new out, and it's beautiful, whether it be like rhythmically or harmonically or like, you know, sometimes like on the piano, like you won't even use a key sound. Like I remember that one time in Face of an Angel, you just like pulled out some bells, like some church bells, and started like
Yeah.
I love that stuff,
I
man.
like to press a button and I like to see what it does.
Yeah, and like that's so cool to me because
Just don't do that on an airplane.
yeah, no, that's a bad idea. But no, man, I love that about your playing and your creativity, and it's somewhere where I want to find some more of my
That's why
own.
last night was so great, because we
Yeah.
were really doing that. The last warehouse show that we did, I did not play like as well as I. But it's such you got to deal with it. Like some nights you feel like kicking ass.
Dude, but
Other
I
nights
feel like you always kick ass. That's the, you know.
Not at the last warehouse show, bro.
Dude, you
terrible, man.
No, man. I think that's the thing is like from our own perspective, it can feel like that sometimes. But a lot of times it's like it goes completely unnoticed by people on the outside. You know what I mean? Like that's where I genuinely feel like we're our worst own critic.
Well, our concerts have been better lately, though, because people kind of understand where we're coming from. Like, you and I have talked about, like, how the phone culture is really detrimental.
Mm-hmm. Like the woo crowds.
People filming and someone does something, go, oh!
Yeah.
Like,
dude, that's my thing,
it
man.
sounds like they're having an orgasm
Yeah,
in the
that's
audience.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, that is the thing about modern day audiences is like, especially here at this school too, we get a lot of like, I call them like woo crowds, you know, like you'll play something beautiful, man, like you'll play the most beautiful line and like something so thoughtful and like it'll touch me and I'll feel so much from it, and then you'll just go like play some fast lick for like a second and like everybody's like woo or like whatever.
See, the thing is sometimes, and that's the thing too.
I get that it's like supportive, and I'm not at all saying not to be supportive of musicians, but like when it's like robotic and everybody does it at the same time to like it's always like the fast stuff or whatever. It's
he's impressive.
Yeah, it's like, and it's not to say that I'm not grateful for like people like fucking with what we do. It's just that it can feel like unhuman at times. Like it's just not. It doesn't feel genuine. It just kind of feels
synthetic.
Like yeah.
Yeah, well, and I don't even want to. I hope one day I don't even feel the need to play like a fast line, because I want it to be appropriate. Because like last night, I feel like there was a time, like I remember like Trey had played something in a really like argumentative way, and I was like, I wanted to respond to that with like maybe kind of more of a, there is a time and place for not flash, but like kind of like oh, okay, you're gonna do that, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Wait, no, it's not combative. It's like, you're gonna pump me up, I'm gonna pump you the fuck up. Like,
hell yeah.
And sometimes I feel like an athlete. Sometimes I like to be like an athlete, just like, you know, get excited, just do it.
Yeah.
But if you do it all the time, I mean, there's nothing worse than like a really like pretentiously technical musician. You know, like it's the fast stuff means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. It's like you gotta find the notes with taste.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like I feel like so much now, like we as musicians have been programmed to play in the hopes of like eliciting that woo response. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that's like a lot of times I feel like whenever people like solo it, you know, they're looking to get that like response out of the audience, and like playing a lot of times, unfortunately, playing the really beautiful, thoughtful, sentimental, you know, like playing from your heart is not always the thing that gets that response. And like it's really sad, but I think it's just the truth of like a lot of the type of audiences that are like going out and listening to live music right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, man. Like, and I hate to say, like I said, I don't want to at all seem like I'm like ungrateful for people like hyping the band up and stuff like that. It can just, there's times when it can feel, like you said, synthetic. I think is a good word for it. And I think especially at Berkeley,
yeah.
though, like more than other places, I would say.
Oh yeah, and it's the terminology too. Sometimes I question. I the one word I don't like when people call playing insane.
Mm-hmm.
People say that was insane.
Yeah.
I feel like that's I don't know.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Sort of removes the. I don't want to be insane. I want to be sane.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you'd rather play sane than insane. Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's a lot of words like that people use that I'm not like very fond of, but have just like sort of been built to the culture.
No, that's the only one that I don't like. That's the only one that I don't like.
No, especially music culture though. Like
Yeah.
I don't really love when people say like killing. Like they're like, oh, that player was killing or whatever. Like I'm like, it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
We're aware of the fact that one could acknowledge someone else's because they acknowledge, yes.
Yeah. But yeah.
You just did a little doodle. What's that?
Yeah. No, I was just making a little doodle over here. But man, it's been so good to talk to you. I want to do this again, man.
We didn't even. Can I just see what?
Oh, you want to see my?
Because
I go here.
I'm glad that we just kind of said fuck the notes.
Yeah. No. I had I heard that you were at least at one point a hamburger fanatic and like would travel.
Wait, can I see the notes?
Yeah, bro.
Because I want to know what info you gathered from.
Honestly, not. I don't feel like I got too much stuff, but I got a little bit of stuff there.
Oh my gosh.
The Paul McCartney shows, some of your first influence. Michael Jackson. I heard you were a huge Michael Jackson fan when you were younger, and you still are.
Huge fan.
Hamburgers, Dunkin',
pizza.
Oh man, this guy loves
John
pizza.
Schofield,
We had some good
George
pizza last.
Duke.
We ate so much pizza last night.
I had another slice after you left.
Shout out Joe's. We had some good pizza.
Wait, what were you gonna ask? Wait, you were gonna ask something.
Me? No, about you being a hamburger. Yeah, like I heard that you would like travel like good distances for hamburgers.
It was a thing. It was like everyone would think it would be cute when I was a kid. Like, oh, I wonder what he's gonna rate it.
Yeah.
Like that kind of like baby talk. Like,
yeah.
Gee, you think it's better than this? I'm like,
yeah.
You know, yeah. Wait. Oh yeah. I yeah. And In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah.
That's like. It's not the best, but you go there, it's like you just can't even, like, contain yourself. I went to Krispy Kreme in New York recently, and I got, like, the little, like, paper hat.
Yeah. You're a huge Dunkin' fan, too. Shout out Dunkin'. Peter brought me Dunkin' as well. Thanks for the Dunkin'.
I did.
Dunkin', please sponsor us. Sponsor the band.
It's funny that it says George Duke on there, because I didn't really... We talked about early musical influences.
I think that camera went out. Oh. But the GoPro should be...
George Duke, bro.
Is the GoPro rolling?
Everybody should watch George Duke and listen to George Duke. But if you watch him, no one had a better time than that guy. And he's probably because again, we talked about like early musical influences, but if we talk about the later ones when I really discovered jazz like in middle school, he was the first guy that I ever saw. Is that going?
No. Hold up. Quick.
Well, the voice is still going, so you're not gonna see us for a minute.
No.
But you don't have to see George Duke, man. Fucking, I mean, no one had a better time than that guy, and so everybody should. That's the way to live life, and Duke Ellington, Thelonious Monk, Herbie Hancock, Tony Williams, Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Charles Lloyd. I wanted to just talk about my musical influences after, like, when I discovered Wayne Shorter, huge influence. every one of the Miles Davis second quintet, I mean, that's a band where everyone kind of went their own separate ways. Tony Williams went into a more, like, explosive territory. And Ron Carter stayed with the tradition, which is beautiful. And Miles Davis was
He's kind of a menace.
he's a character. But he did stuff that I mean, some of the greatest, like, work. And I love his 80s material, too. And Herbie Hancock and Wayne Shorter, I really see as one person. People talk about, like, bands and how they're supposed to become one. But I feel like it's harder if you were to do it with two people, because it's, like, really... You can't have a real, like, simultaneous, because it's two.
Yeah.
It's like you can only... if I were to make a analogy, you can't make a shape with two sides. You make a shape with three sides. You can't make a shape with two sides. It's like, it's gonna really be direct. It's not. There's no hiding. There's no like real, like, unanimous, like, backing.
Yeah.
But Wayne Shorter and Herbie Hancock, one person. Even though that they went their own ways and didn't... If you listen to that one album where it's just the two of them, I mean, that's a... I mean, jeez. I mean, that's like just... So everyone in that band, and I just wanted to talk about that before we end, like, my, I guess, more like... Because I want... And it's not because they're my musical influences. I just want to, like, talk about them. And like I said, George Duke and John Scofield was on the Notebook. Oliver put me out to him. I mean, really, what a legend. John Scofield.
You met John Scofield, right?
My dad forced me to meet him.
How was that experience?
I don't like meeting people. I'm too nervous. But
I understand that.
He was really amicable and he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
Bill Frisell, huge. Everybody should listen to Bill Frisell. Everybody should listen to... all those, like, guitar guys, because I love guitar players. I think I like guitar players more than I like piano players, because they're the most human. And it's the most, like, it's really, because you can bend notes and harmonics and effects, and it's really like a whole, like, constellation of like warp and all that stuff. And Bob Dylan. Everybody listen to Bob Dylan. Because that changed my life.
This man's putting you on some good music.
I didn't give a shit about lyrics until I heard Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
I heard Bob Dylan, and that was... And now I pay attention to lyrics pretty much all the time because of him. And I think that's some of the most beautiful music. Joni Mitchell.
I was just about to say Joni, bro.
Both of them.
Yeah. Even James Taylor. That was, like, one of the early ones for me.
James
lyrically.
Taylor. Yes.
Just as far as, like,
I
lyrics.
think you're a fan of his more than I. Because I really only know, like, the hits with him.
Yeah.
Anita Baker compositions.
Oh, this man loves
That's
Anita
my
Baker.
favorite album, Anita Baker compositions. You have to listen to that album. You have to listen to that
Layla
album.
Hathaway.
Layla Hathaway. Well, I just love that one song. I don't know a lot of her material, but that one song. Prince, Charles Lloyd, he's like a god to me.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a god. I mean, like, such a huge fan of his, man. Like, Lonnie Liston Smith, if you want to trip the fuck out. I could go on for days just talking about, like, because I wanted to just talk about artists, because, I mean, there is something to be said for when you are... Success doesn't mean anything at all, but it does mean a little bit. If you can really reach a lot of people, that is something that's special. David Bowie, I've been telling everybody, it's like Black Star.
He's trying to get me on David Bowie. I've never been a David Bowie fan.
That last album that David Bowie did, oh my God. I mean, who else does a concept album about their own death while they're dying?
Yeah.
And then it's like the most beautiful, because he went to the 55 bar in West Village, and he was like, someone told him to go check out Donnie McCaslin, his group with Tim LaFabe. Tim LaFabe's another great, I mean, like a whole, you know. And that's Oliver's guy.
Yeah.
And Mark Juliana and Ben Monder and Jason Lindsay, and he heard that band, and then they were gonna do one track on the album, and they played on the whole album.
Oh wow.
And that's really cool. Like, I mean, if Bowie was still around, that would probably be his band, like the Donny McCaslin group. So everybody's got to check that out. David Bowie. I mean, I don't know if I have that many more. John Coltrane Quartet. Everybody in that band. Did I say Thelonious Monk? I think I said Thelonious Monk.
I don't think you did.
Thelonious Monk, Ornette Coleman, Unmedicated Genius.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
I think that was like the perfect.
Alexa,
that
bro.
was the perfect, like, all right, Peter, shut the fuck up.
Dude, my fucking Alexa, bro, she's always on one,
Podcast
bro.
is over. Cause that was like perfect. The fact that she just.
Dude, I want to have you on again, though.
Let's do it again. I'd love to do it again.
Dude, I love you so much, and I'm so glad to have been able to chat.
How long have we been going?
I don't know, over an hour, I would say, or like right at an hour at least.
No, I think more than an hour, man.
But dude, it's been so good to have you, man.
Well,
Dude,
it's just gonna be on there.
Thank you guys.
I wonder if we're gonna be doing any edits. Are we gonna edit? Is there?
No, bro, this is all going on there, bro. Just like all the way through. Yo, let's pose for the. Hell yeah.
It's fantastic. All right, thank you, everyone.